Hello everybody and welcome to Mevo Multicam Live. My name is Will Kirkpatrick and I'm technical specialist here at Mevo. And this is a really exciting show. Not only are we going live to all over the Facebook groups, but we also have so much to talk about. We just released officially version 1.0 of the Multicam app. We have a great deal on Mevo.com for 3 Mevo starts, the 3-star pack. We've got a great graphic, as you can see, which we'll get into a little bit later. We also have some really cool deals going on for individual Mevos. And I'll pull that up right here. So we've got our referral program that's 5% off if you refer a friend, and then you get 5% commission for that, and you can check that out at mevo.com/referral. You can find the Multicam 3-pack right here on mevo.com, and you can see you just select the Mevo Start 3-pack box right next to the normal Mevo Start. And then to download the Mevo app, you can check out mevo.com and go to apps. All right, so now that we've got all that out of the way, it's definitely a great time to jump into the multicam world. If you're brand new to the show and you're new to multicam in general, Multicam is a app that we've been working on for about a year now, maybe even longer, that users have really wanted. It allows you to connect 3 Mevos all to a single application. This is a free app, and it lets you switch in between the Mevos. It runs on iOS and Android phones and tablets. It also uses the Mevo First Gen, the Mevo Plus, and the Mevo Start. So you have a lot of options. You also have different connectivity options. You can connect them via PoE adapter, and we sell that at mevo.com as well. You can also do it wirelessly using just a simple router, and it's really easy to set up. That's kind of the great part about multicam, is when you consider what it is like to set something up like this without doing Mevos and without a multicam app. It's so much more expensive, it's so much more time consuming, there's lots of equipment, significantly more complicated, different programs. Now this is super easy. You just set up your Mevos, connect them to Wi-Fi, and then open up the Multicam app, and then you're good to go. So let me show you a little bit about the app. So first we've got 3 cameras set up right now. As you can see, we're using 3 Mevo starts. All are connected wirelessly. We've got this single mic, which is connected to an audio mixer, and then going into the back of the Mevo Start using a 3.5mm TRS cable. And then back into the app. As you can see, it works iOS, Android, and then phone. Another thing I do want to mention real quick is if you have any questions about the Multicam app, please put them in chat. I will be happy to answer all of those in just a little bit. All right, so we've got our 3 cameras set up right here. On our Android tablet, you can see we've already got some graphics loaded up, and I'm using the Mevo Start 3-pack graphic right there. But it's very easy to switch between the graphics just by tapping. And we'll get into graphics in just a little bit. So you can also have your 3 audio sources from each Mevo. Right now I've got the center audio source, and this is the microphone, and I can adjust that level as needed. I can also add in a secondary audio source if I wanted to. So right here, if you've got a baseball game, maybe you want to have some baseball music. And so you can quickly and easily adjust those levels, mute it just like that. I can mute my easily. And then, of course, you can do the internal mics from the Mevos, like the one over here. So this is using the internal microphone of the Mevo that is So lots and lots of options for audio, and this is another one of those areas that we're going to continue to improve over time. Just like the entire app and just like the Mevo 2.0 app, we're always going to be improving it. So moving on to graphics. As you can see, I have a lot of graphics preloaded up. It's incredibly easy to start a graphic. You can just hit the plus, hit graphics, and you can do just like the Mevo 2.0 app, full screen overlay, lower third, over the shoulder, and of course corner bug. I can do a quick graphic real quick. Full screen, hi. You can adjust the text color. Depending on your background, obviously you can change the background color. Maybe white text for that, change the opacity even. Then it'll quickly save, and then there you go. You can just tap it and it automatically will add it up. So what's great about these graphics is that you can make them even more advanced. So these graphics can be JPEG files or PNGs. So if you have a PNG file, which is a file, an image file that's partially transparent, then you can do stuff like this, having overlays, borders. You can use the corner bugs to show off maybe your computer. If you're playing a video game, maybe you want to show off that game. If you have a music broadcast and you want to advertise your album, maybe you want to put up that in the top right corner. From the Facebook post today, I saw we have lots of people from House of Worship that are using the Multicam application, and if you want lyrics, which is a very popular request, you can easily add that as well. Obviously, sports is another big one. So I've got this scoreboard overlay up top. This is a PNG mixed with text done in the app, so I can go in here and adjust the score as my team does better. It'll save that, and there you go. So we've been hearing lots and lots about people wanting to do scoreboard overlays, and Multicam is a great tool for how to add that. You can also do player stats. You can do graphics for players that just go up to the bat. You've got home run graphics. You can do full screen graphics. And say you've got breaking news and you want to add your own text to it. Breaking news, if I can type with one hand, cam. So graphics are a huge, huge benefit of the Multicam app, and I'm really excited to have that included now in version 1.0. So along with graphics, we just released zoom and crop. And so basically, we're moving more and more features from the Mevo 2.0 app to the Multicam app. So you can use it even with a single Mevo, but it will work up to 3 Mevos. And you can stream to all your normal destinations just by hitting live. And as you can see, you've got Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, Periscope, Twitch, and of course custom RTMP. Very easy to set that up. Another really exciting part of the Multicam app is the recording. So it does ISO recording, which means that not only will it do the record to device, and that'll be the output, so what you see right here will be recorded to the internal storage of the device you're using, but you can also do ISO recording, which means that it will record everything that the Mevo is seeing from each camera directly onto that SD card. So that's a hugely valuable tool if you are doing sports, or just if you want to edit your footage afterwards. Being able to have every angle fully covered is incredibly useful. And of course, with sports and other things that are not predictable, having the recording, whether you're looking at it or not, is, obviously very great. So jumping back into the app, we now have zoom and crop. So I've got this great Mevo sign over here that I decided to use in black and white. To do that, I went into image adjustments. Just like in the Mevo 2.0 app, you've got all these presets, or you can customize it by individual settings. You can also do crop and zoom, which is brand new, and that'll rotate it just so you can have a more precise crop and zoom. I can just tap, just like in the Mevo 2.0 app. I can also pinch. And then, of course, I can transition by tapping and holding. And this gives me the option to cut, to do a fast transition with the rabbit or a slow transition with the turtle. And it's nice, you get to just keep adding more and more depth to your broadcasts. And what I really like about this is the name of the game with live streaming is not only do you want people to tune in, but you also want to keep the people watching, and you want to make sure that it's a engaging and dynamic broadcast. So multicam really lets you do that. All right, let me jump into some questions really quickly. It looks like we've got a bunch. Keep them coming. I really appreciate that. Our first one, Marvelous. I was having problems going live with multicam. The Mevo not connecting to my network. Why is that? So, as I showed in this little slide right here, you can have a Ethernet or a wireless connection for your network. Depending on which one you're going to use, the main thing is that the Mevo and the multicam app have to be on the same network. So that is the main thing for that. But if you have issues beyond that, definitely open up a ticket and we'll be happy to help you out one-on-one. So thanks for that question. Bert says, do you need a PoE type router for PoE adapter to provide power to the properly to the start? So yes, a PoE type router is required for the power to be sent over the Ethernet cable. Jason says, does the Mevo Start work with Live Stream Studio? It does, but I will say a lot of what you can do in Live Stream Studio you can now do in the Multicam app even better and certainly easier. So something to consider. Kevin says, can I use the multicam to run just a single camera? Absolutely. You can use just one Mevo. It can be the Mevo First Gen, the Mevo Plus, or the Mevo Start. So you're good to go on that. Antonio says, why is the phone version being demonstrated on the iPad? So the iPad, this is the iPad version. We are going to be working on a full version that takes up the entire screen of the iPad. But right now, this is the iPad version. Amy says, how did you make that PNG for the scoreboard overlay? Did you use something outside of the Mevo app to create it or within the app's graphics? So it was a mix of both. All of the more advanced pictures that you saw there, they were all done in Photoshop. There's obviously free programs. I know GIMP is one of them. So there are lots of different options to create PNGs. But Photoshop is the one that I use and like the most. Let's see. Max says, it would be cool to be able to use the tablet on your left for graphics as an input for the Multicam app. Yeah, multi-device to control multiple Mevos and multiple graphics and multiple audio sources would definitely be a lot of help in different situations. So that's good feedback. I really appreciate that. Kirk says, are you able to stream to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously with your Vimeo account? So yes and no. So multicam is not included in, or multi-destination is not included in the multicam app. But if you have a Vimeo Premium account, then you can stream there and set it up where it streams from Vimeo Premium to those different destinations. But multicam is not yet in the app, or multi-destination is not yet in the app. Bert says, is there talks about adding add video option if a broadcaster shows a video clip of something during a live broadcast? Absolutely, lots of talks about it. I haven't seen yet in an early developer build, but as soon as our developers have that ready, you will see it on this show first. This show is great because I get to talk about stuff that isn't released yet. Obviously, I can go into great detail about the stuff that has been released, but I also get to preview all the latest stuff that they've built. Every day it changes, and so definitely tune into the show every week at 2. Cade says, is it possible to make the Multicam app horizontal or vertical? Because the image adjustment to crop and zoom is only horizontal, so I have found I constantly have to turn my mobile every time. In an event settings, and I have my phone in its holder, it's difficult to use. Yeah, definitely so. This is something that our developers are actively looking on, whether or not we can incorporate the crop and zoom just in the vertical or the vertical field up top. But yeah, it's definitely something we're talking about. Antonio says, will there be a boost battery option for new Mevos? So the great thing about the Mevo Start is it has such a long battery life. It can go up to 6 hours. So if you need more juice than that, you can certainly get a battery power pack and plug that into the Mevo Start. So definitely a good option there. Shothouse says, since the update of multicam with all the cams connected on the same network, they will not connect with multicam, but with regular Mevo app can connect them all. So if you're talking about the multicam app not seeing the Mevos, that's one issue. If you're having problems just seeing them and unable to connect, what I would try is a hard reset. That's holding the power button on the back for 30 seconds. But definitely open up a ticket with us if you are still running into problems, and we'll be able to help you out with that. Brian says, I'm sure you're aware of this, but when can you have the program saved to the SD card instead of the internal storage? So right now, there are no plans to switch this from the output saving to an SD card or even external storage on the device. It'll always save directly to the internal storage. But that being said, the ISO recording does record to all the SD cards, so you could edit it together that way if you don't have enough space on the internal. But it's definitely a good feature request. I'll let the developers know. Max says, if you could do an output from one multicam and input into another multicam as an input for graphics, say through NDI. So NDI integration is something that is hugely requested, and definitely something that we have plans for doing, and something that I'm really excited about as well. So hopefully sooner rather than later we'll be able to see that. Antonio says, also very interested in the track face option. Yeah. Can the Mevo be used as a webcam with a feature like Apple's Center Stage? I don't know Apple's Center Stage very well, but the Mevo, if it can be used with a webcam, then the Mevo could probably work with it fairly well. Right now, we don't have the webcam option in the Multicam app, but yeah, if you're doing a single camera, you should be good. Kirk says, can you give a sense at the order of the Mevo 2.0 options that will be imported into Multicam? Yeah, absolutely. So, first off, most of the options are in Multicam. There are a few things specifically in audio that have not been moved to Multicam, but if you can see, you can do the image adjustments, which I've gone over already. You can do Mevo Settings, and this is a lot of those options in the Mevo 2.0 app, where you can adjust the camera name, which I always really recommend when you're using multiple Mevos, so it's just easier to switch between the different ones you have set up. Format SD card, set a password, customize the action button on the back, speaker, brightness of the front and back LEDs. This is obviously really important if you're doing a dark concert or play or something like that. power external USB devices, if you've got your PoE set up, all of the basic options from the Mevo 2.0 app are there. You can obviously stream to a lot of the same destinations, the recordings there. Graphics are actually, you have more options with graphics than in the Mevo 2.0 app, and it's really easy to switch between them. Here's a just quick reminder, we do have the Mevo Start 3 Pack, so now is a really good time to jump into Mevo Multicam. We've got the 3 Pack going on. We've got individual discounts for, I think it's the Mevo, the PoE, and the Start Case. I'll have to double check on that. But we do have discounts for all of those individually. We also have a bundle deal. We also have the 3 Pack. So a lot of people are always asking in tickets when there's going to be a new sale. Right now we have like 4 different sales going on, plus the referral program. So there is no better time, literally no better time to start picking up more Mevos than right now. So definitely check out Mevo.com, check out the discounts. Even if you weren't planning on picking up another Mevo, and now you're seeing Multicam version 1.0 is out, now is definitely the time to pick up that Mevo. Justin says, any integration with the Game Changer app coming soon? So not currently. We don't have current plans for that. But that being said, you can do a lot of the same functions within the Multicam app now. So if I have baseball going on, I might want to do bases, as you can see in the top right there. You can track the runners. You can do the lower thirds announcing the player. You can do player stats in an overlay. You can do home run graphics. Lots and lots of options that you can do. Obviously not all the same as Game Changer, but you can certainly come really close with Multicam. Max says, are you going to release beta for 4-camera Multicam version? So if you've seen the Multicam show before, and you've probably seen me demo that it can go pretty high in some of the developer builds as to how many Mevo you can have. But right now we're going to stick it at 3, but it's definitely something that we're talking about to raise that number higher, because you can do some pretty awesome stuff the more Mevo that you have available. Kirk says, how about setting up static shots like in the Mevo 2.0 app? Will that be coming soon? Absolutely, it's definitely something that the developers are looking into right now. Again, as soon as it happens in the app, in the developer build, you will see it on this show every week on Wednesday at 2 p.m. And mentioning other shows, I do want to say that we have shows from Tuesday all the way to Friday. All of them are at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got Ask Mevo Anything with Joe on Tuesdays. We've got the Multicam show, obviously, Wednesdays at 2. We've got another Ask Mevo Anything for Mevo Live, and then we get to answer questions, but also do deep dives into information with the Mevo 2.0 app, and show you obviously some Multicam stuff as well. And then we have a Friday show at 2 p.m. with Joseph, and he covers everything audio related, so that's Multicam related as well. So if you're watching for the Multicam, check out that Friday show. All right, we got another question. Antonio says, will you be adding the feature to detect who's speaking, automatically switching to that camera, similar to what Sling has done? Basically, the Mevos focus on the speaker and the app switches. So it's not something that we have currently in our roadmap, but this does bring up an extremely good point, that something that I overlooked. And let me jump into the app real quick. There's just so many features that it's almost hard to remember how many options you have. So back into the app, we have something called Autodirector. To get to Autodirector, you go to Camera Assistant, and as you can see, Autodirector does just like the Mevo 2.0 app. It will switch between instead of switching between the static shots, it'll switch between the Mevo shots automatically on its own. So this is great if you have just a single person setup, or if you don't want to be paying attention to your cameras and your stream all the time and you want to be focused on your content. This really is fantastic. So you can turn it on, you can set up a preferred camera. So for me, I would do probably the center one. And then you can set the time that it will switch between cameras. The preferred camera is what's shown the most option, what's getting switched to the most often. So I'm going to set that to 3 seconds just so you can get a demo of it. So I'll let that take its time, and then boom, automatic switch for me. So this is really great if you are that single person and you can't control it, or maybe you just don't want to. And so the app will do it for you. It is not based on movement or speech, but it is based on time. So really easy to do that. And while we're in the settings, we can also talk about the transition type. So this is another thing that I know that the developers are working on, adding and improving more transitions. So right now it's set to cut, and that's what you've been seeing. That means it's just instantly switching from one camera to the other. You can also set it to crossfade. And this obviously all depends on the type of content that you're using. But if you wanted something more of a more dramatic, slow fade between cameras, you could set that up. Let's say it's 6 seconds. So then when I switch cameras to this nice moody black and white camera, it'll do this very nice slow fade into that camera. So this is just more ways that you can set the tone for your stream. And using graphics and alternate audio sources, it really lets you have a more customized stream than we've ever been able to offer you before. So that's a huge exciting point for the Multicam app. Let me switch to transition there. You can go to crop settings, just like in the Mevo 2.0 app. This allows you to customize your cropping and your transitions. You can obviously set them to be between, I think it's 1 second? 10 seconds. 10 seconds and 60 seconds. Fast transition between 1 and 10. And those are the rabbit icon and the turtle icon. For camera input quality, this all depends on the network and internet connection that you have. So camera input quality is the quality that the Mevo is sending to the Multicam app. So if you have this set at 360p, then that means that it'll just be sending that 360p resolution to the Multicam app, and you'll only be able to stream at 360. But if you set it at 1080p, then you can do all the way up to 1080p. So it really depends on your network. If you have a slower network, you can also adjust the latency. So if you have a slower network, or like in our case, we have lots of Mevos, so we have lots going on our network, so I have that set to high latency. And this is the time it takes from the picture to reach the Multicam app from the Mevo. If you have a great network, then you can set it to low latency. It really depends on what you're working with. And that is the Multicam app. All right, we've got some more questions. Keep them coming. Also, if you're already using Multicam, let us know how you're using it. I'm always really excited to see what people are doing. We talked earlier about some of the different things that were posted on the Facebook group. Obviously, House of Worship is huge. We've got podcasting. Sports is another really big one. I saw cooking. I always love seeing cooking because I think it's just such an original use for Multicam. But you got to just think, if you have a single camera broadcast, obviously you can use the different static shots to kind of have some diversity. But if you have multiple Mevos, then you could have one on each person. You could have one on each band member. You could have one on the audience. Think about mixing the audio from each Mevo also. So if you were doing a House of Worship broadcast, you could have a lapel mic connected to the main person, the main subject of the Mevo, and then you could have another Mevo that uses the internal microphones for the audience or the choir or other instruments, something like that. So you can really get creative with multicam. Antonio says, thanks, motion detection, like with hand detection for demos, like yours would be awesome. That would be a great upgrade. Absolutely. Split screen or picture-in-picture would be awesome too for your demos. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And if you notice on Mevo.com, we now have that listed as a coming now feature, or coming soon feature, I should say. So we're pretty excited about some things that are coming up soon. Antonio says, I would suggest a show for feature requests with direct access to product managers and engineers, even if it's a premium access broadcast to compensate somewhat for their time. So, great thing about this show, and really all of our shows, is the entire team ends up watching them. So the questions that you have and the suggestions and the features, they're all seen by all the important people, from the developers to engineers to the whole CX team. So everything that's part of these shows is seen by them. And we do like to talk about new features and feature requests all the time. So tune into all of our shows every week. All right, so thank you guys so much for all of your questions. If your question wasn't answered, head over to help.mevo.com. We have tons and tons of help articles now for multicam. We are just covered all around the website. And again, if you have a question that hasn't been answered, shoot us a ticket and we'd be happy to help you with that. All right, we've got one more question. I don't want to leave you hanging. Kirk says, we're still not able to import a Google slideshow in PDF like on the Mevo 2.0. Correct, but this is coming. That is correct. I do expect this to be in the Multicam app. But another way you can do this is break it up into individual images and do that in the graphics in the Multicam app. So there's definitely a workaround there. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us, and I will see you next week and also tomorrow too. So 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. See you then.